So I suppose I'm supposed to stay in this area?
Well, it's pretty much from that desk to that wall.
Okay.
So it's very broad. So you can
Cool.
got plenty of room to move.
Great, thank you.
No problem.
They're really running late.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, it's almost 10, they're still not at auditorium.
we're starting at the cameras.
Oh, you're starting them now?
Yeah.
People aren't even in here yet. Hold on.
I did 3 rows. Okay, so there's
Oh, okay. So,
because yeah, when I left that first one, I just
cool. Okay. Yeah, I think so. I'll double check real quick, make sure. I believe so. Yep, it's recording. Recording.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, I was just
It's so
testing.
quiet in here, oh.
I was testing to see if I could see my notes if I was doing.
You were very focused, it looks like you got it.
How's your morning so far?
Really good.
Good.
I'm gonna do the
Got the chocolate?
quick bathroom break,
Yeah.
which probably for everybody else.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, just a minute.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm well, how are you?
City and Center campus, okay.
Yes.
I'm torn between two, so I may start
No.
here and move to another, or should I
That's
start
good,
somewhere else
that's
and move
fine.
here? I don't know if it's rude, I'm just.
No, don't worry about it.
I'm so torn, it's all these awesome sessions are offered at the same time.
So the
And I'm
first
actually
half.
on the wait list for this one, like,
Oh, I
so,
didn't know there was a wait list.
yeah, very popular.
So the first half is me talking
Yes,
about
which
our
is better, yeah.
student experiences. The
Okay.
second half is how the program is structured. So,
So maybe the second half would be,
sure, and I also have resources for everyone to take home
okay,
if you want to grab those.
okay,
You want to grab that now, just in case you step out?
okay.
Or in case you, whatever.
That would be great.
Do you know where the restroom is on this floor?
Yeah, if you go out here to the right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, well, I will be back for this. Sneak in, I'll be very quiet.
Sure.
As I do so. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Well, how are you?
Kristen, nice to
Adam.
meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, for sure.
How's your morning so far?
Really good. Those, did you see the picture things?
No, I didn't see that.
They were interesting. So the idea is 20 seconds per slide,
Right.
20 slides. I had never heard of that. I think that's really,
We did that once.
Clever.
I used to work in the Children's Museum of Pittsburgh, and we did that for a conference.
it seems really hard on the presenter's end,
Yeah.
but like great for the people listening. 'Cause you're like, oh
you
yeah,
should
quick,
get quick
woo-woo-woo.
ideas. Yeah.
But it seems like that would be really tough.
Was it students or adults?
No,
or-
it was adults, it's just all kinds of different programs.
That's really cool.
Yeah, everything from, and you know, like the last one was about a tennis program and then other nonprofits and things like that.
Very cool. Hello. You got it.
Hi.
204 will be down.
It's all good. You found 203.
Maybe.
I know. For no reason, I just because every time. That's so weird. So, I was sitting with some presentations. It's like,
Oh, did you get the packet with like how to walk on?
I did, and I was logged on yesterday, and today, like, when I go there, it says I'm on it.
Hello.
Just not feeling it.
And it's checked out.
We try shutting your phone down. Work on here.
Are you perfectly fine by yourself?
I'm okay.
I don't want you to feel anything. You're all
I
right.
will relish in the space.
Yes.
I know you probably prefer that, actually.
Thank you for the invitation.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. How was your morning so far? Good. I missed the presentations this morning, but I heard they were really interesting. So my name is Adam Nye. I'm the director of Cities Our Campus at Winchester Thurston School. Today I'm going to talk to you about the Cities Our Campus program, what our students are doing in this program, and then how we went through the evolution of the program. So how we structured it, how it's evolved over the years, and then we'll have some discussion interspersed throughout the presentation so that we can hear what all of the work that you're doing, because I know that you're doing similar work in your own schools or institutions, and then just to have a brainstorming session at the end. So first, who do we have in the room? Who is a teacher? Cool. Administrator? Who doesn't work in a school? Cool. Oh, what was that?
No, that was an actual note scratch.
I thought that was like a signal or something. Cool. Who's from Cleveland? Is everyone from Cleveland?
Yeah.
Just
Wow,
two?
everyone.
Wow, where's everyone else from?
Pittsburgh,
Oh, okay. What school are you guys at?
the Ellis School.
Oh, wonderful. So we're right down the street. We shouldn't be here. We should be at And where's everyone else from?
Hawaii.
Oh, wow.
Deep
Welcome.
south, far west.
Cool.
Los Angeles.
Great. Okay, so much more diverse than I thought you were going to be. That's great. So before I start, I just want to let you know that Cities Our Campus has its own website, citiesourcampus.org. It's on the back of that pamphlet sitting on your table. And on that website, you'll not only see the experiences that our students are engaged in, teacher reflections, there are also a lot of resources, some of which I'll be passing out today, but if you're interested in gathering more, we've established this toolkit so that other schools can learn from us. We are very eager to help other schools to kind of spread this learning, as we all are, since we're at this conference. And then my contact information one more time. So I've been at the school for about 1.5 years. I'm new to Winchester Thurston School and the independent school world. I previously worked in children's museums, connecting the museums with schools. So now I'm kind of on the flip side, connecting the school with community resources. So a bit about Winchester Thurston. This is our mission statement. Actively engages each student in challenging and inspiring learning process that develops the mind, motivates the passion to achieve, and cultivates the character to serve. This is a bit about our demographics. So pre-K to grade 12, independent, I know it's a lot of text, co-ed, college prep day school, established in 1887. We're located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, though we do have a satellite campus for the lower school right outside in the suburbs. 670 students, and the divisional breakdown is right there. 31% of our students are students of color, 74 zip codes, 45 school districts, and about 2.5 million offered in financial aid each year. So now that that's out of the way, so a bit about the history of Cities Our Campus. So in the mid-2000s, our new head of school, Gary Niels, was looking at the marketplace, looking at some really great schools right down the street, such as the Ellis School. It's a very highly competitive market in Pittsburgh. We were trying to figure out, what could we do to set us apart from some of the other schools in the area. What makes us unique? And so he was looking at a lot of different things. And we came up with a few factors. So first, we're in a great location. We're in a dense urban residential neighborhood close to downtown. There are 4 major universities right in our own backyard. This new emerging tech hub was very close by and being built. And then there are a lot of museums and cultural institutions, a great hospital right in our backyard. All of this was so close to our school that we thought we needed to tap into those resources. But in the early 2000s, mid-2000s, our school had a muddled identity in the city. Nobody knew exactly why they were sending their students to Winchester Thurston. We did, as a culture, encourage innovative teaching practices. We liked varied teaching practices. We had very independent faculty who kind of took chances, took risks, so we wanted to embrace that as well. And the last thing that was maybe a detractor was, since we are in a dense urban school, we don't have a lot of space. I'm sure you guys can attest to this. It's hard to grow, it's hard to expand your student body, you're kind of confined to the classrooms that you have. And so what do we do with that? From there, City is Our Campus was born. So in 2005, Gary Niels and the senior administration of the school came up with the concept of City is Our Campus. We were awarded an E.E. Ford grant to pursue it. They gave us the initial seed money to pursue the idea, and then it evolved from there. But what is City is Our Campus? So it's a learning initiative integrated into our core academic curriculum, and I think that's really important to note. This is not a standalone program. It's something that the students experience in their core academic classrooms. Engages, studies, and utilizes the community to provide experiential learning opportunities for students and for teachers. What does that mean? So what I'm going to do is go through what our students are experiencing through their coursework and frame those by outlining the objectives or the goals of the program. So the first goal, provide teachers with a co-educator model that opens possibilities and expands our thinking. So this isn't just for students. There is a professional development and teacher growth component to the program. And what that means is, we realize that our teachers, especially today, can't be experts in every single thing that they're doing. And so rather than relying on them for everything, let's create a co-educator model that brings in specialists and researchers and engineers and scientists to really co-teach and co-develop what they're doing in the classroom. So here's an example. This is Dana. She is a local biologist, and she actually works for a pond specialist company. So they're the people who go and build ponds in your backyard. We have a pond on our suburban campus, and the students, realized that the health of the pond was deteriorating. All of their animals in that area were dying. The water quality was really poor, so we decided to bring in Dana to work with the students and the teacher to do water quality testing and to brainstorm with the students about how they can improve the life of the pond. This branches off of another project where the students have a partnership with the Pittsburgh Parks branch system, where they go into the parks and do water quality testing in the park as well. We also have a mentoring program. So we have a lot of engineering courses and science classes and independent project program where the students, if they're working on something and they need external expertise that their teachers can't provide, we partner them with a mentor. This year we have professors from Carnegie Mellon University, University of Pittsburgh. We have local technologists, people from startup companies. We have some parents who are architects or artists. They come in and they work with the teacher and the student throughout the entire year to mentor them on their personal projects. This, just a side note, is a really great way for us to engage our alumni and parent population as well, because it gives them a new way of working with our school rather than just giving money, which is especially appealing for young alums who may not be financially stable yet to give us funds. Another goal, to gain exposure to a variety of environments, places, and sites in our city. So as I mentioned, we are limited in our space. And we also realize that students are learning everywhere and at all times. So rather than just confining them to a classroom, let's get them out. Let's acknowledge that learning happens in the labs, in the workshops, in the garages, in the streets, and everywhere. So we go on neighborhood walks through the city to visit different cultural sites. This is third grade going through a cultural site in Pittsburgh. We encourage them to learn about the history of the city, so visiting an old steel mill in the area, and just to see how astonishing it is and how big it is and what life was like back then, to really embrace the heritage and the history of our city. Also just to get them outside of the building and into the beautiful green spaces that we have in our building. This is an environmental literature course where the students go out on writing expeditions throughout the city and they just write in nature. And what was great about this group of students, these are seniors and juniors, and they were amazed that we just let them go off into the woods by themselves for an hour, which, I'm like, what? Why did you do that? But they loved it, and they love that freedom and independence. And of course, food is a heavy aspect of almost everything that we do. We love to introduce new foods to our students because Pittsburgh is a very diverse city and we have a lot of different foods and we think that's part of the community. And so our seniors especially will find food no matter where they go. Especially tacos seems to be a hot commodity this year, which is great. Interact with community members to understand diverse viewpoints, motivations, and stories. So we have a 5th grade project that has happened, I think, 5 or 6 years now, where the students meet with with people who have come from different countries and relocated to Pittsburgh. The emphasis is not on the students at all. It is about the immigrants. The students are trying to capture their stories, their experiences, and learn from them. And I have a short clip that, if you don't mind, I'll play. This is a reflection from one of the students.
My name is Aurora. I'm in the 5th grade at Winchester Thurston School. These are my reflections upon interviewing Nazir Nouri. Nazir taught me that life can be hard, but it can always get better. The things that cause people to become immigrants are almost always hard, but they were especially hard for Nazir. The thing that surprised me most during the interview was the reason Nazir and his family had to leave Afghanistan. The Taliban made him quit his job at the U.S. Embassy because he was working for America. They threatened to kill him or kidnap his kids. So the U.S. government gave him a special visa to come to America. At first, his family didn't want to leave, but eventually realized that they had to so they could be safe. Now, after being more than a year in Pittsburgh, Nazir has a job and his wife is taking English classes. His 6-year-old daughter is in the 1st grade, is the smartest in her class, and is correcting him in English. It's awesome to meet someone from a different country, but it must have been hard for Nazir to leave his home country. I hope I have another chance to interview another immigrant someday.
So I've cried multiple times listening to these reflections. I think this is so touching, especially with the political discourse that we're having in our country, to have 5th graders sometimes being more insightful than our politicians. I'm just going to say that. So yeah, a really great project. The students just blow me away, and the immigrants feel so special because they get to share their story, and then we contribute these to an archive of oral histories. So these are students on a mission. I love this picture because they look like they're just going to tackle something important. They're part of a class called Urban Research and Design. It's a capstone course in our upper school where the students study urban development happening in our city. They meet with the stakeholders, the developers, the city, business owners, neighbors of that development. They hear what those people are interested in, what they want from these developments, and then they propose their own developments back to the developers in the city. So these students, it's really nice to get them interacting with different people. There's a lot of development happening in our city, and this gets to the more granular level of, what do people actually think about this? Who are the people actually being affected by it? This is 2 other students from that course. This picture was taken shortly after one of the, political or police brutality events in the fall, and it was a touching moment for me to witness this, 2 black students going up to a white officer and having a very candid conversation about crime in that area. So I just wanted to share that. This is another oral history that we captured as a part of this project. How do I show this? Well, maybe I'll show it at the end. We'll come back to it.
Did you try pressing the space bar?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that fast forwarded.
That's fine.
But thank you. So inherent in all of this is the ability to communicate effectively, to express ideas and articulate intent. So this starts in kindergarten, where our kindergartners, this is what we do almost the entire year. We make things with them, we get them to collaborate with each other, and with the sole purpose of getting them to practice some essential skills. So how do you share, how do you collaborate, but most importantly, how do you, conceive an idea, express it to somebody else, work with somebody else, and then see it through. So we are exploring these concepts with the Children's Museum of Pittsburgh, where they co-teach with our kindergarten teachers throughout the year. They come into our classroom multiple times each month. We go to the museum several times throughout the year. And that partnership has completely changed the way that our kindergarten teachers approach the engagement of their students. It's been really wonderful. And then that continues all the way up to upper school, where we have a class called Research Science, which is an independent project course. This is a science course that students can take, where they are proposing, designing, fabricating a product throughout the entire year. And the teacher has asked them to design products that help someone else. So that can mean anything that the students want. This is Emma. She designed a prosthetic limb last year that is easily customizable and cheap for children who are rapidly growing and can't afford to constantly replace prosthetic limbs. So she not only was developing this in the classroom, but she met with doctors at UPMC and the Children's Hospital. She met with actual amputees who could test the product for her and with her. And then at the end, she had to present her findings, her research, her work to other people and to the doctors and amputees who are affected by that work. So having to explain something that is a class project to a doctor who's an expert in that field, that takes a lot of courage and a mastery of that information. That was an example of applying academic learning to various situations in an authentic way. One other example, in middle school, our 6th graders are studying pollinator gardens throughout our city. They're learning about pollinators by meeting with experts throughout the city, and then they are going to be designing pollinator gardens for community gardens throughout the city and at our own school. Engage with the community to become active and engaged citizens, and I think this is really like the overarching goal of the program. This starts in 2nd grade, where the 2nd graders study their community as a system. So they're looking at all of the essential parts of that system. What needs to go into my community? What needs to function properly to have a happy and healthy community? And so they're touring hospitals and educational sites, they're going to the library, they're visiting business owners, they're looking at public art and public park systems, and they're looking at the community as a system and what they can do to contribute to that system and be an effective part of that system. In middle school, our middle schoolers have been empowered to, bikes and bike lanes are a hot topic in our city right now, as I'm sure some of you are experiencing as well. So they are very passionate about being able to safely ride their bikes to school, and so they're working with a local nonprofit like Pittsburgh, who comes in and meets with them several times, and the students are advocating to their parents, to community members, to their teachers, to other policymakers to get bikes in the surrounding neighborhood. So you guys should help us with that. Or an upper school advanced math class is analyzing data from the city and the Bureau of Police to look at what types of crime are happening where in the city at what times and days of the week. So this is public information. They pull it just from our website that the city has, and they're analyzing that data and then giving that to another course called Politics and Public Policy. This course has a partnership with the City Council where our students are writing policy drafts that they then send to the City Council, who reviews and gives edits and feedback. Now, we don't know, we doubt that any of these policies will actually be implemented, but at least our policymakers know that students are aware, that youth are informed, and that they are passionate enough to write policy drafts, and who knows, maybe they could learn something from them. And we do all of this work for a lot of reasons, but we are a city that's rapidly changing, and we want our students to know about the changes that are happening, to know the stories, the histories, the opinions of different people from different communities, so that they can not only be aware of that and contribute to that, but hopefully through all of this work, they might become a little bit more invested in it than they usually would be, so that they'll actually stay and can contribute to that future. So that's the hope of the program. So I just told you what we were doing. If you want to have a few minutes just to introduce yourself to the person next to you and maybe share 5 minutes to the person next to you about what you're doing in your own school.
Not actually doing anything like this. And I'm taking a spare program here in the summer. So I guess that was sort of there's a little bit of that. It's not too bad. It's just a short program. It's only more a little bit over a month.
partnerships
different applications to show having involved
partnerships with
what their
schools
materials are.
we have neighbors. We have luckily our school on the west side has
Like I
access,
just got involved last
which
summer.
is known to be
I was
fairly
so eager to be able to come back again.
south. So not so far from us, really is.
It's cool too, but
So economically,
yes,
little more diversity
drive that
and
from
yes,
here,
I mean,
like every weekend, so.
very easily accessible, just like a nature
It's
where we are. I think next thing is sort of vision.
And for us, I mean, to be frankly honest, I mean, these guys are we're literally the same. You wake down the street and see, they're on one end of the neighborhood and we're doing it. So they are doing it because their school is justice. We're going for it. And, you know, we are really struggling with, we have all these things, little individual projects going on. There's no cohesion, there's no one that can oversee it and arrange it and then take it up to the next step. How are you dealing with that? You
I
have
think
support,
we
or-
have people now who sort of, you know, we're trying the same thing. We got our global, really a lot of those over STEAM programs. And my title is Students to Learn Experiential Learning.
That would kind of be.
And yet it's just like, you know, it's almost like, somebody's doing it. How are we gonna do it for our crowd? And I think it's exciting, there's been a lot of people in the past about it, including our operational director, who are committed to how can we worry about strategic planning.
Right. So that would be your chance
Sneak
to
our
kind of-
language in.
Yeah.
The book, because that blows my mind about those, the way that he wrote up the actual mission is, I mean, it's going to look at our teachers. Clearly, it's been clear that this is what we're
It
doing
seems like a
as
novel
school.
concept.
Right.
Yeah,
So
just
we're
almost-
doing it, right.
Yeah.
That's one of the
and
things you don't think of, but it's brilliant.
And so I wonder if the way to go about it, I've thought about this with our school, is to go to like department heads or department chair, whatever you call them, and say, as a department, what are our opportunities? You could see, or even make suggestions the other way around, if the department's at your
And
office.
it's great in that scenario, the department was actually open, so proceeded with them and hoping that.
So maybe one more minute before we come back together as a group.
You know, one project at a time. But I think, you know, personally, I'm finding that that can go on forever, and it's not negative. But if we're really going to do some of this in a systemic way that touches all students and moves through, we're gonna have to sort of
That's
get a
hard,
big
yeah,
picture.
I think they have a little bit of that, but.
And it's maybe,
You know,
yeah,
just
that's
we do it.
yeah.
Sort of project that it's sort of used
Kind of
with
in my-
administration.
You're in the city.
So
Like,
how
why are
does
you
your
doing
It
that?
is such a challenge.
Well, we don't do it nearly as much as they do, that's why we're here, because, I mean, we have, it's kind of a good pocket, so whatever, teachers can find a program, our arts department does a good job, Chris has a really strong art scene in general.
Okay, so I can have everyone come back as a large group, we get to cut off conversations, but we will have more time to talk at the end. Can I have maybe two people just share something that you talked about?